All right, so here we are up on the roof. From the pictures that I had seen that my brother sent, because I wasn't there when this was picked up, it really looked to me like he had used some kind of tar solution. But now that I've been up here, he sealed the old seams between the sheets here with what looks like marine tape, which is a high quality sort of waterproof solution, but it's not a permanent one. My guess is that the right way to do this would be to take the panels apart and try to reseal them. Another option would be to use lap sealant along the joint, but unfortunately, because he's taped it, I can't get to the joint. And I'm a little bit nervous to try to peel the tape up and just cause more damage. So what I've decided to do is I have sort of pre-finished white on one side and brown on the other side roof flashing and some construction adhesive. I've got the Gorilla kind, but I think you could use whatever you have. So I'm going to glue that down over the seams. This is 6 inches wide, so I can really cover the seam quite widely. And then, so that'll be glued down with construction adhesive, which will be sort of one layer of protection. And then on the open edges, I'm going to use lap sealant to seal this down. I think step one is that I need to clean this where the adhesive is going to go. So I'm going to do that first. Step one, I am going to do my best to clean the dirt off of where I want the construction adhesive to stick down on this. I don't think it needs to be perfect, but it is a good idea to clean a surface before you apply any adhesive. All right, so one of the easiest ways I have found when you're cutting flashing is just to score it and then bend it and break it. I honestly don't know what roofers use. There's probably a proper tool, so if you have that, go ahead and use it. But for the amount that we're cutting, this works fine. I'm just using my speed square here to make sure that everything is straight, and we're just going to cut a little square out. So I've scored it there, and then it just breaks off. And if you use snips or something, you're going to deform this and cause, whatever. So by this scoring method, I find gives you a really nice clean edge without any deformation, without any sharp edges or anything like that. So that's my suggestion for cutting this. All right, I think this is pretty straightforward. I just sort of laid out the flashing side to side and cut it with the knife, like I said. And now the goal is to try to run like a continuous bead of this construction adhesive on either side of the seam. If it's continuous, I'm going to seal the edges with lap sealant eventually, but if the construction adhesive is continuous, I think that has the potential to provide one more barrier for water to get inside the trailer. All right, and so there it is. This would definitely be easier with a second person, but the goal then is going to be to just kind of try to line this up on the bead and press it down. And then to smooth it, you really want to kind of move from the middle out. And you can wipe up any squeeze out if you want. I don't know how much that matters. Definitely would be useful to have 2 ladders. All right, and then I think it's a good idea to put some weight on it. It's pretty well stuck down, but I'm just using this moving blanket I have. I figure that if I accidentally glue fabric to the roof, that's going to be better than if I accidentally glue a piece of wood to the roof. I can cut it off without having too much damage. So yeah, if you're gonna weight it down with something, you know, think about having, if there's any squeeze out, think about having a layer of something that if you accidentally glue it to the roof, you can get it off. And then I've just got this big long piece of wood that I found in my brother's backyard. I have no idea how much weight these things can handle, but yeah, 3 rocks in this piece of wood. The cure time on this is 24 hours, but check whatever construction adhesive you're using. That's pretty standard. And then we can move on to the next step tomorrow morning. All right, and the next thing is lap sealant. The one I'm using is from Dicor. I don't know too much about this, but when you read all of this, it talks about being self-leveling and UV resistant. It's specifically meant for like use on metal and use in RV applications. I don't know. I've actually never done something like this. I don't know if there are other brands or what. If you're in Canada, you can get this at Canadian Tire. But whatever you use to do this, make sure that it's something that can stand up to just being blasted by the sun all day, every day for potentially years at a time. And then, you know, you just kind of run a bead. I am not particularly good at this. You probably want some gloves just to keep this crud off your fingers. But remember, this is our sort of waterproof situation. So I'm gonna just sort of run a bead and then smooth it out with my fingers. Make sure that it's a good waterproof seal. Yeah, I'm just using my finger to make sure that it's adhering to all the surfaces and that there's no you know, gaps that water can get through. I'll do the other side and we let this cure up, and I think the job is basically done. All right, so here it is. All of the seams are covered over with flashing and then sealed with the self-leveling Dicor lap sealant. If you're seeing this, then it's rained and I did not get wet. So yeah, job well done. The fan doesn't appear to have any leaks, so I left it alone, but I did go ahead and seal up everything else. So I sealed up all the sides and just the tops of the windows, just for good measure. All right, so this worked pretty well, I think. It was a pretty low-cost solution. I think, you know, I went through, I think 3 tubes or maybe 4 tubes of construction adhesive and 3 tubes of lap sealant. So that was probably like $200 worth of goop, and I think the flashing was around $60. So it's probably the most expensive thing I've actually done to the trailer so far, but I think it's going to be good just to prevent the leaks and have a properly sealed roof. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you're not subscribed, I know a lot of you aren't, consider subscribing, like the video, leave me a comment. I think there's probably going to be some comments about how this probably wasn't appropriate, and I would actually really like to see those if they're constructive about what would have been a better option for this. But it's going to get me through the summer and on to my next project. So I think it's going to work for what I need, even if it's not the proper way to have fixed an old trailer. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.